Donald Trump may have just ended Kamala's entire campaign after her disastrous CNN interview. You are not going to want to miss this.
You guys, we are going to begin with a Fox News alert. Listen to this. 40 days now at the top of the Democratic ticket. Yesterday, Vice President Kamala Harris finally giving that long promised formal sit-down interview. Taped, though, not live, but we did see 27 minutes from Harris and her running mate. Critics say it left them with more questions than answers. This is the Faulkner Focus. Hello, everyone, and happy Friday to you. I'm Julie Banderas in for Harris today. So it was the very first time that the vice president was pressed on all of those liberal policy backtracks we've seen since she announced her candidacy. Policies like border security, Medicare for all, gun buybacks. Also at issue where she stands now on fracking versus her previous position.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking. I made very clear where I stand. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going forward. I kept my word, and I will keep my word.
So here's what the VP said during her 2019 presidential run, and also what she said during the 2020 debate she referred to. Listen closely to how she words her answer. Watch.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yeah, Joe Biden will not end fracking. He has been very clear about that. Sure. So, first of all, I will repeat, and the American people know, that Joe Biden will not ban fracking. That is a fact. That is a fact.
So Joe Biden will never ban fracking. But what did he do on his first day in office? I'm pretty sure he closed the Keystone Pipeline on the very first day. That was one of the first executive orders that he signed. These people are full of garbage. And if you remember, Joe Biden had the exact same playbook. He said back in 2020, I will never ban fracking. These people will say anything to get you to vote for them. They don't care if they get caught lying later on, as long as they are in the Oval Office. And they don't care how deceitful they have to be in order to get there.
By defending her policy flip-flops, she made this claim.
Well, let's be clear. My values have not changed. I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. My values have not changed. So that is the reality of it.
Former President Trump not impressed. He posted that Harris, quote, rambled incoherently and, quote, America will become a wasteland if she's elected. His running mate earlier this morning.
If you have the same values, why have you changed your mind on literally every topic that you previously held an opinion on? She's just trying to pretend that she's not far left now because, of course, she wants to win the American people's votes. It's really absurd for Kamala Harris to sit there and say, well, I don't actually believe in any of the thing that I told you I believed 3 years ago. She has governed as a person who believes those things, and unfortunately, the American people are far off because of it.
Fox News contributor Joe Concha says the long-awaited formal interview can be summed up in just 2 words: dishonest and train wreckalicious, which he admits may not be an actual word, but he calls it appropriate. Longtime Obama advisor David Axelrod's take, meh.
I think on the whole, this was a good night. It wasn't a huge, I don't think she moved the ball that much forward, but she certainly didn't fall back.
Senior White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich picks up the story from here. Hey, Jackie.
Hey, Julie. One thing that was very clear from that interview is Vice President Harris has been a good number 2 to Joe Biden. She has embraced his policies as her own and put no daylight between them, even as she resisted detailed explanations for how she got there, especially on policy issues like fracking. The Wall Street Journal editorial board writes, the vice president said she is now convinced that the U.S. can meet all of its climate goals without a fracking ban, which would play poorly in Pennsylvania. She notably didn't disavow any of the Biden administration's green mandates and regulations. And she said the country needs to stick by timetables to reach targets for carbon emissions and other green demands. Ms. Bash didn't follow up, so Ms. Harris escaped again on costs or feasibility. Her campaign today is also relatively light on the details.
She made it clear that some of her positions have evolved, which is very standard when you're in public service. When you learn more about the issues, as things evolve, sometimes your positions do evolve. She leaned into her position on fracking, which, by the way, is the same position that she had in 2020.
Here's the reaction from the other side.
Even though I'm running against her, I felt a little bad for her because it was clear that she wasn't totally sure-footed and she didn't totally know why she was saying the things that she was saying. She's been coached to pretend to be a moderate.
So the task ahead for Trump will be to zero in on Harris's policy evolutions and make her explain where exactly her values haven't changed and what that means now. But it will take a disciplined campaign. And in the meantime, Harris is not getting comfortable or distracted by a recent bump in battleground poll.
Listen, I'm not going to trash somebody for changing their mind once or twice. But if it becomes a consistent thing where you constantly change your entire agenda based on who you're speaking to, yeah, then I'm going to mock you. Because it just seems that Biden, Kamala, and these Democrats will put their right hand on the Bible, say one thing, and then the very next day say the polar opposite. So I think the smartest thing that Trump could possibly do is call them out directly. What is your stance on this? The more direct that the question is, the better, because they cannot weasel their way out of it. You have to get these people on record because they simply will never admit when they are wrong.
A tight race until the very end, okay? So let's not pay too much attention to the polls because we are running as the underdog, okay?
The whole media is behind you.
And we have some hard work ahead of us.
Notably, on Labor Day, the vice president and President Biden will make a joint appearance in swing state Pennsylvania, where fracking is so important. It will be only their second joint appearance since he dropped out. Julie.
Jackie Heinrich, thank you very much. Tammy Bruce, Fox News contributor, joins me now in studio. It is a very slippery slope when you are a politician and you go on record on one issue and then you completely flip-flop years later, especially when you were running for the president of the United States. You used the term slippery when you were listening to her comments earlier. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, she wants it always. She does not want to be pinned down. She wants to be everything to everyone. And the problem is we're now in a world where we believed them in 2020 that he was going to be a uniter, that everything was going to return to normal. And we believed that we knew what that meant. Mm-hmm. And this is what we've got. A world at war, an economy that is a disaster, an erased southern border, unmitigated crime, housing costs out in an outrageous situation, billions suggested now for housing for foreigners, for illegal aliens in this country. We don't know how to look up. So when you've got someone who is from that administration coming in, has never been a shy woman. Kamala Harris has made very clear what her positions have been. She can be very passionate about those positions, about telling people that the 2020 riots were not going to end, and they shouldn't end, supporting the bail fund for people who are burning down the cities. She knew what she believed in. Mm-hmm. She didn't have to be coached. But now, what is the coaching? Oh, she's Mary Poppins now. Right. She's Mary Poppins. And it's a coaching, as Vance has noted, to not really say anything. It's like a freshman who's always skated by, and you've got a 50,000-word essay you're supposed to turn in, and you want to fill it up with as many meaningless words as you possibly can. Our lives are at stake, not theirs. The average American's life is at stake, economically and when it comes to safety. We need more here than cynical kabuki theater.
I would respect the heck out of Kamala Harris if she said, yes, I said this back in 2020 and I still stand by it today. If she said that full of conviction, I would applaud her because that is what we are missing in Washington. And it reminds me of what Mark Zuckerberg did with Facebook. He admitted back in 2021 he was censoring a lot of conservative voices. You know what? That took a lot of guts for him to say. He went out publicly, he took ownership of the mistakes that he made, and he said, listen, it wasn't right, and I want to rectify this. That is a leader. Mark Zuckerberg, I give a lot of kudos for, but Kamala Harris is doing the exact opposite. She is flip-flopping depending on who is listening. And that is the sign of a coward and a weak person. And we cannot have someone weak leading this nation. We cannot have Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, Joe Biden, or any of these Democrats near the Oval Office because they are trying to destroy our country. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. Would you respect Kamala Harris if she actually stuck to her guns and did not flip-flop? And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like, comment, subscribe, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. Till next time.